the first time all my windows were busted out at the club, mind you, I was 16, so I don't even think I was supposed to be at the club. But the first time my windows were busted out, I was at the club. There was a girl, words were exchanged. We didn't even have a physical altercation, it was just words. She left, busted every single window out of my car from the rooter to the tutor, front, back, side, side. Even that little baby window on the side was busted out. I mean, all of them. And if you guys have never had all of the windows in your car busted out, you have no idea how much it costs to fix front windshields and back windshields. So, needless to say, by the time I got out of the club, all my windows were done. I knew that next week meant it was happening. The brawl was going down the following week because that's how it was in Detroit or like in any type of city like this. She busted my windows out. Clearly, I had to go back the next week, right? Tell me why, when it was time to go back, none of my girls were available. Now, my girls are pretty thorough, so this was not like they were trying to bail on me. It just so happened that no one could go. A lot of the girls had babies. Thank God I didn't, but a lot of the girls had babies, so nobody could get a babysitter. It was just something crazy like that. But I still had to go. I had to defend my honor, right? So I showed up to that club, windows all fixed, obviously. They were fixed the very next day, by myself, right? And I'm expecting full on to have a little brawl with at least 5 girls. At least on the low end, I'm expecting it to be 5. I was planning on showing up with about 10 myself, but nobody was available. So I get to the door of the club. I was alone-ish. I may or may not have had Nina with me, and I may or may not have been able to circumvent the metal detector because the guards knew who I was. I'd been there so much they knew what happened the week prior, and when they saw me by myself, they just put their head down, shook it, and was like, okay, go on around. And then, what do you think happened when I showed up into the club by myself, ready to dance with 5 girls? It was at least 5. It might have been 8. Those girls saw me by myself, and they got the hell on quick. They were like, this girl must be crazy. I don't know what she's into, but we don't have time to deal with it. They left and bust all the windows out of my car again. It got to the point, y'all, where every time I'd come home from this club, every Sunday morning, my mom would just go out, look out, see if I had windows intact or if they were all busted out. A lot of the times they were gone. And she just called the people and get them right on fixed. And I just go back to the club the next day. I mean, listen, the way I grew up in Detroit, I really had to learn how to defend myself and throw hands. And I needed to know how to throw hands well. And I learned from all of my boy cousins. And I never started anything. I'm so cool, especially if you ever met me or know me in person. Like, I'm really cool. I really chill. I just mind my business. But when people start to mind my business that I didn't ask them to mind, we've got some issues. And in high school, I had so much long hair. It was long, beautiful, gorgeous hair. And so the girls would go around high school saying that they were going to pin me down and put Nair in my hair to make me bald. That was the way the girls wanted to do me in high school. So I say all that to say, that's when I started getting into the clink clink because I had to defend myself. And so we would have altercations and I'd get thrown on in and had to sit down for a little bit. Mom had to come pick me up. I got kicked out of Detroit, all Detroit public high schools, not just one, all of them. Like, you cannot come back to any of these schools. That happened to me twice because whatever had happened, my mom would just march on down there and talk to the people and get me right back in. It would take some time. The last time I was kicked out of all Detroit public high schools, I had to stay out of school for 5 months before they would let me back in. But it didn't affect my grades at all, which was a blessing. It didn't affect my grades. But I did get kicked out of all Detroit public schools. Now, one time when I ended up in the clink clink, it had nothing to do with, throwing hands. I was riding down the freeway in Detroit. A police officer was driving next to me. He was trying to talk to me. I was not interested because no, I wasn't interested. So he was annoyed by that. And him being annoyed, decided to run the plates, and he realized the tags were expired. And so he's like, well, I have grounds to take you in, so I'm going to take you in. I was like, fine, we can go. I mean, it's not my first time and it won't be my last, so let's go. When we get there and we do all the things, I'm not going to say what they are, but you guys, if you've done it or if you've seen TV, you know what happens. The processing, we go through the processing. And then he goes, so what do you want to do now? I'm sorry, what? What do you mean, what do I want to do now? What am I supposed to do? Aren't I supposed to be like in the room, locked in? And he's like, well, you don't have to do that, but you do have to wait for like your parent or somebody to come and get you. I said, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Tell me why I ended up making the bologna sandwiches for the people and passing them out through that little hole, that little slot. I ended up passing out bologna sandwiches. I guess I was in the kitchen or whatever that was, you want to call that. It definitely didn't look like a kitchen suitable for humans, I can tell you that. I had there was 2 pieces of white bread. I slapped some mustard on this side, put 2 pieces of bologna together. I think I made about 20 sandwiches, and then I passed them out to the people and did that until my mom came to get me. So now I'm out of high school, I'm headed to college, and mind you, I did not want to go to college. I wanted to move straight from high school to go to New York to become a songwriter at 18, because I always knew what I wanted to do. There was no question in my mind. I didn't want to go to college. I felt like it was a waste of time, but my mother was having no parts of that. She's like, I don't care what you want to do afterwards, but you're going to go to college and get your degree first. So I went to college, everything. We had a cool couple of years. It was fine. I was at Southern University. I pledged AKA. I did all the things. And then I go to Atlanta for a football game, and I meet this guy, and we start dating. He was living in Atlanta at the time, but he was from Detroit. And now one particular time, I'm at his house in Atlanta. We're just hanging out on the couch, watching TV, watching movies. His grandmother walks into the house, and she sees me, and she goes, baby, is your mother named so-and-so? Excuse me? How do you know who my mother is? All the color from her face left. His uncle was with grandma. Color from his face left. They just stood there in disbelief, like, because as it turns out, my mom dated my boyfriend at the time, father, when she was pregnant with me. So my mom was pregnant with me, dated a man, and then 20 so years later, I meet said man's son and start dating him. And he may or may not be my brother.